Hello and welcome back to Reading with Mo. I'm very excited to share with you guys my TBR for the month of January. I'm trying to keep it very realistic, and realistically with myself, I can read on average about 2 to 3 books a week, usually like a physical book and 1 or 2 audiobooks, and usually within the mix I'm like DNFing a couple books in the month as well. So today I have 11 books that I am going to share with you guys that I'm going to try and read in the month of January. I'm trying to give myself a little bit of structure to my TBR for the first month of the year and see how it goes and if I'm successful with it or not, or if I need to change it up. But I have plans to hopefully pick up about 4 new releases in the month of January. So let's just go ahead and start off with the new releases. 11 books, I believe, that are coming out in the month of January that I'm interested in. The 4 that I'm leaning towards prioritizing right now are, I'll show you the first one, which is the only one I have a physical copy of because Flatiron sent me a review copy. And that is If I Ruled the World by Amy DuBois Barnett. And this is a debut novel, and it's looking at the world of hip hop music and the magazine scene from an insider. I go in depth a little bit more on what the new releases are about in my new release video. Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez is one I'm hoping to prioritize as well. This one is a historical fiction romantasy book, and we're following, this one is is a standalone, which is good. It's set in Renaissance Italy, and our main character, she's trying to help her brother. So she goes to this dangerous city where she ends up getting kidnapped, and we take the story from there. The Star Seekers by Nicole Glover. This is technically the 4th book this author has written set within the world of the first novel, The Conductors, which I haven't read, but they say that this can be read as a standalone, so I'm just gonna go straight into this one and see how I feel about it. If I like it, I can go back and read the other books that came before this, but it takes place in the 60s, and it's a historical fantasy with the space race of the mid-20th century is happening, and there's like murder, there's like different little elements and other things going on, and the cover on this is beautiful. The other cover for Graceless Heart is super beautiful too. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a special release of that one, or a special edition coming out. The other book that I'm going to try and prioritize, it's a new release coming out in January, is called Rules of the Heart by Janice Hadlow. Janice Hadlow also previously wrote The Other Bennett Sisters. This one is another historical fiction book, and in this one we are following our main character, Henrietta. Lady Henrietta is in her 30s, and it takes place in the late 1700s in England. Our main character is no stranger to the affections of a younger man, but the relationship that she ends up getting into has the chance of ruining her pretty much in society. Those are the 4 new releases I'm going to try and prioritize in the month of January. And by the time you guys are watching this video, hopefully my 2026 goals video has already been posted, but in case it hasn't, one of my goals is trying to tackle a classic every month in the year of 2026, and some of these are very intimidating classics, but some of them aren't as intimidating. So how I decided which ones I'm going to do, because I made a list of 12 of them, is I'm going to put them on a wheel, and we're going to spin the wheel and see which classic I'm going to read for each month. I'm a little bit scared. I'm really hoping that the first one that's chosen is not one of the longer ones, mainly The Count of Monte Cristo or Les Miserables. But if I get it, then I guess it's just good to start off the year with a big chunker. So I have my wheel here. I'll just go ahead and screen record. I think it'll be easier for you guys to see what I'm talking about that way. Okay, so I'm going to spin the wheel and see what classic I'm going to be reading in the month of January. Oh, interesting. I got The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I have not read any Sherlock Holmes books before. Let me pull the one that I have off my shelves. It was actually right behind me. I didn't even really need to get up and get it. But I have this really cute edition by, I don't even know who publishes this one. This is by Vintage Classics. And yeah, this one is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So it looks like the wheel was nice to me because this book is just shy of 250 pages. So nothing too crazy. Although the font is very tiny, I'll take my wins where I can. I don't believe I've ever watched or consumed any Sherlock Holmes media. All I know is that this character created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is a very timeless and classic character in classic literature, and that he kind of started, I believe, like, or helped popularize this type of crime or mystery detective fiction. What the inside dust jacket says is, from Sherlock Holmes' lodgings at 221B Baker Street, the famous detective and his faithful sidekick, Dr. Watson, unravel the shadiest crimes taking place on the streets of London and across the English countryside. Discover Holmes' most memorable and intriguing cases, including adventures with mysterious masked strangers, ingenious heists, murderous plots, and hidden jewels. I think what I'm going to do before I read this book is maybe watch a couple different YouTube videos on the lore and the history of Sherlock Holmes and Arthur Conan Doyle, so I can have a little bit more context and background before going into this book. I'm not really sure if it's like these are short stories that are compiled together, or if he has different like novels and novellas. I'm really going into this pretty blind, and so I definitely think that watching some informative videos before I go into this one will give me more context to get more out of what I'm reading. But I'm very curious to see that if this is something that I enjoy reading or not, and who knows, maybe it will spark me wanting to pick up more books by Arthur Conan Doyle, and in general just more books, because I don't know how much writing there is on Sherlock Holmes, but I don't know, in my mind I'm thinking like there's a lot, but I could be wrong. Another goal I'm trying to hit in 2026, or set for myself, is trying to read more nonfiction. I don't read a ton of nonfiction, but the nonfiction I do pick up, I generally end up really enjoying. So I have no excuse to not pick them up. So I have a couple that I picked up from my shelves, each for various reasons. So the first one we have is 3 Wee Bookshops at the End of the World by Ruth Shaw. I picked up this book when I was in New Zealand on my honeymoon in April, and I picked up this book and another book called The Bookseller at the End of the World, which is Ruth Shaw's other memoir, which I just read and really loved. And so I'm very excited to jump into this next one. I don't want to put it off. I just want to go straight into this one. And I just finished the other one like last week. This one picks up Ruth's story with more charming, heartbreaking, brave, and funny tales. Having found the love of her life, Lance, she tells of their sailing adventures together, world travels, conservation efforts, and their wee bookshops. Ruth Ware or no, why am I saying Ruth Ware? Ruth Shaw, I'm getting the author wrong. This is not Ruth Ware, the crime mystery thriller writer. Ruth Shaw, first off, I want to visit her bookshop one day. Whenever I'm back in New Zealand again, I will make my way there. But her life is crazy and it's so interesting, and I'm really surprised I have not heard anybody, at least within the booktube videos that I have exposed myself to, talk about her or either of these books. And yeah, if it's anything like the first one, I'm gonna really love this book too. The other nonfiction book I wanted to pick up is one that has been on my shelves for far too long. I believe I have owned this book for many years, and I have not read it yet. And I lugged it all the way with me from California. So I'm really gonna try and work on reading the books that I took the time to move 3,000 miles over here to Florida, and that is The Slave Ship, A Human History by Marcus Rediker. For more than 3 centuries, slave ships carried millions of kidnapped Africans across the Atlantic in a wooden world where crew and captives alike lived with the ever-present fear of shipwreck, epidemics, and hungry sharks. As a cruel instrument of war and commerce, the slave ship helped to shape the Western world. Yet until now, it has remained a mystery. And this is an intimate history on an infamous institution, shining light on the darkest corners of the floating dungeons of the 18th century. This book has been on my shelves, like I mentioned, far too long, and I just need to try it and see if I get on with Marcus Rediker's writing or not. And this is a subject I do find very interesting, and so yeah, I'll let you guys know. Hopefully, please give me some encouragement to read my nonfiction books. I just fly through fiction so much quicker that I don't pick up nonfiction as much as I should, even though I do really enjoy it. The last book that I have a physical copy of that I'm going to try and get to in January is Love Always Hawaii by Junie Lane. Me and my husband are actually going to try and read this book together because it is actually one of our mutual friends who is the author of this book. So we're going to read it together and see how we like it. We've tried reading books together before, and we have not been successful so far in finishing a book. We've gotten a chunk of a way into books, but we have never finished anything together. So hopefully this will break that streak. And this is a romance book, a soft, slow burn romance blooming beneath tropical skies. Phelan Sinclair is done with love and definitely done with heartbreak. After a bitter end to her relationship with Jackson Sharma, the golden boy set to inherit Wellington and Co., she's left Chicago behind with only two things: an NDA she never wanted to sign and a heart she's trying to heal. A 2-week escape to Hawaii with her best friends Maxine and David is supposed to be a fresh start, but paradise gets complicated when she meets Kai. I'm not going to pronounce the last name because I'm going to mess it up. Infuriatingly blunt, frustratingly gorgeous, and everything she doesn't want. So I don't really read a lot of romance books, but here and there I do like to pick them up. And I'm not going into this book super objectively because it is my friend who wrote this book, but I am trying to be more objective. So we said that we would help give her some constructive criticism on the book a bit if we had certain feelings on it. So I'm very excited. I think this is going to be fun for multiple reasons. I mean, it's my friend's book, but also I'm reading it with my husband. So this will be a fun book. It's not too long, I don't think. It's just over like 250 pages. So it will take us maybe like a week or 2 weeks, maybe. Hope we read it together. And I'm excited. I think it'll be a very fun experience. And I believe this is the first book in what is potentially a trilogy. Since the primary way I get through mini books these days is audiobooks, I do have a couple that I have checked out from my library that I'm planning on getting to in January. Two of them I've actually already started, but I'm only like 10% of the way into them. We have a nonfiction book called Black Owned by Char Adams, The Revolutionary Life of the Black Bookstore. This one I'm only actually 4% of the way into. I just listened to like the first 15 minutes to see if it was something that I was interested in reading, and I really am enjoying it so far. Like, this book has the potential to be a 5-star read for me, so I'm very excited to get to this audiobook, and it's not too long. It's only about 7 hours. And then we have another book that's called Artificial Wisdom by Thomas R. Weaver. This book I'm 12% into. I have like about 13 hours left. And this one's about a climate-ravaged landscape where AI and humans vie for political power, and a journalist must unravel a murderous plot that will either upend the world or save it. I actually started this book almost a month ago. It was so good, and I was on vacation, but then for some reason I just put it down, and I have not had the time to pick it back up since then. I've been waiting to get the audiobook because I just felt like that was probably the only way I was going to get through it, because I had way too many physical books already on the go. So now that I have the audiobook for this, I know I'll be finishing it for sure within the next couple of weeks. And both of these are 2025 books that I didn't get to yet. So there are a lot of 2025 releases that I'm still interested in that I want to make my way through during 2026 as well. The problem is there's just so many books that are current and backlist that I'm just really trying to prioritize everything that I want to do. And then more than likely than not, I'll maybe squeeze in 1 or 2 other audiobooks, and I'm not sure what they'll be yet, but I'm going to try and prioritize audiobooks for stuff that I already have on my shelves so I can more quickly get through my physical TBR, because while I was really good at reading stuff I purchased at the beginning of the year, the last half of the year, once all of the holiday sales came around, I just honestly went crazy. I probably have one of my recent hauls up already, if not soon. And I have like 2 that I have filmed that I need to edit as of me currently sitting here right now. So yeah, one priority for sure in 2026 is trying to read the books that are on my shelves. But it's so hard because new releases also have a place in my heart, and I like to keep up with them as well. So I have to really find a balance between the two. That's everything that I have so far on my radar for my plans for January reading. Let me know if you guys have any plans for 2026 January, which you're trying to read. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. That all really helps to support my channel. And I am looking forward to being able to talk to you guys about these books in February, and hopefully I got to all 11 of them. So wish me luck.